welcome back to Limerick. So it's been an eventful month. Counting down the days, I've 2 days to go. Cast will be off hopefully. So it's going fine. It's healing away. Just awkward, but it's going fine, and everyone is we're all working away anyway. So in the last month, I suppose currently, at the moment, the yield is 24 litres. Our fat is 459 and our protein 384. Somatic cell count is hovering in around 195, 105 in around that. And we're on 2 kilos of ration at the moment. The rain came, transformed the place. It turned it inside out. It was badly needed. So it had a huge impact on us in the last month. Like when we last met, we had taken out a huge amount of paddocks, and then we didn't get rain at all, and we hadn't got rain, and things were flying at the time. So we ended up then, with the lack of rain, we ended up having to, instead of taking out paddocks, to make everything available to the cows, and reduce down our demand. Our demand then was down at 50. The ration went up to 4.5 kilos, and every paddock was available. It meant some of the cows, they weren't going into ideal paddocks. The grass was too strong for them, but we kind of had to. We'd run through the place because too quickly, otherwise we had taken out 5 paddocks for bales that time, and they needed a chance to come back. So in the end, our protein was up as high as 389, and after 2 weeks later then we were down as far as 369. And our yield had dropped as well. We were down to 23 litres. So the rain was very welcome. Like, I mean, we're going back in now to proper covers, or better covers, and the yield has gone up, and our fats and proteins have gone up since. It just highlights the importance of it. The other one then that's happening now, this time of the year, there's some bits of stem. It's getting out to the heading out time of the year is on the way, and so there's a bit of tidying up to be done on some paddocks. There's a lot of tidying up then to be done on other ones that were available, and now we've them closed off after the rain has come, and now we're waiting for a dry spell to try and get them cut in order to keep them back and get them going in the rotation again. I hope they're not going too strong, because we keep all those bales for the springtime when cows are freshly calved, so you want to maintain the quality and also get them back into the rotation again. So at the moment, our farm cover, I can go through the farm cover then. Before I did a farm cover last Saturday when everything was still available to the cows, and the farm cover came up at 1,087 on average farm cover, 381 per livestock unit. And then when we closed off, I closed off a lot of paddocks, and it brought us down into 873 and a livestock unit of 218 per cow, and I got a growth rate of 79. Our demand now, when those paddocks are closed off, has gone from 51 up to 72. So it's still probably, in these days, this heat now, is probably going more than 72. So there's more to be taken out. So that's kind of the grass situation. It's still a moving piece. We'll be taking out more again. It's nearly to get to a dry spell to take them out. The breeding's gone very well. There's 140 gone to the bull for the main herd. There's a couple of cows being culled, so there's 140 for the bull, and out of that there's 4 of them haven't been served yet. So we started on the 18th of April, so we're 6 weeks now. The end of this week, we're 6 weeks into it. Of those 4, 2 of them were very late calvers. 2 very late calvers. One of the other ones had twins, and she retained the afterbirth, and so it is no surprise that she hadn't come. And the other girl, when the 4 of them were handled, and the other girl, when she was handled, the vet said that she had shown a heat before, so obviously just wasn't picked up. So they should all come through, hopefully, and that'll be all of them. The repeats, they're there. Unfortunately, there's still some few, no more than any other year. So I thought we were going very well, but we got a big shot of them then in one day repeats there last over the weekend, and that's just it. The repeats are coming. Hopefully they'll all tighten up. We had used a lot of sex semen, so we had the sex semen for the first 3 weeks, and then we went back to conventional, and we have finished up now. This is week 6, so we finished up with all freezing or all breeding, and we're just going to beef only now from now on. So it's, yeah, that's it. It's going fine. It is what it is. They're going okay. So it's just those 4 to get picked up, and everything's going fine. So that's where we're at. Today is Wednesday. So the paddock we're in now, paddock number 4. I walked this on Saturday, and I had a cover of 1,050 on it. Like looking at it here and walking through it, like we've easily 1,400 on it. And in my head, when I was here last Saturday, we were 3 days from where the cows are now to coming into it. So if I have a 1,400 on it now, 1,300, 1,400, and to say they were 3 days away, like something has to change. So it just, with the heat it's after coming again, like I think we used to go more than walking once a week again. When we were in the middle of the drought situation, or the mini drought, the once a week was plenty because everything was available and it wasn't growing at all. But now we're back at it again, and I think we've more, like I was saying to coming over, we have 6 paddocks taken out. I think we're going to have to go to 7, if not 7 paddocks, if not 8, to start getting into here again. Because in 3 days' time, this will be gone. Like if we don't start moving. So it highlights the importance of walking and walking. Like you don't need. I keep saying, like when I do the covers, I put them into the notebook, and then I go in and sit down on the computer and do them. You don't really need the notebook, because you know by walking it, in 3 days' time, 4 days' time, a week's time, whatever it is, they're coming in here, it's gone or it is not. You know, it's you know it straight away by walking the place. I keep reiterating that point, like it's just so important to keep walking. So yeah, we'll have more decisions to make. See what we do. Oh yeah, since we've our main pit silage is done as well. We did our main pit silage on the 12th. It was brought in on the 12th of May. The only comment on it, it's back in quantity. Like for our first cut silage, for the last number of years it's been the same acreage, the exact same acreage. But the pit is it's back. It's back in quantity visually from looking at it and seeing it, that it's back this year. It got the same fertilizer, exact same fertilizer, more or less within the same week of it. But yeah, it's back. So yeah, we need a good second cut. We've a lot of bales taken. Then that's the other side. We've a lot more surplus paddocks taken off the platform by this time this year than we had this time last year. So overall, I suppose we've easily the same amount of silage made. But that's slightly disappointing that the pit silage was back, because we do need that. Over the winter. Oh yeah, just to comment on this one, the field here, like we'd rarely, I won't say never, but we'd very rarely do topping. But these 2 fields here were both multi-species. They graze one after the other. That's where the cows have been. They were here, then into that one, and then to where they are. But this paddock here in front of us was reseeded in the autumn of last year, and the other one was reseeded in the springtime. They were both multi-species. There was a grant available for sowing multi-species, so we availed of the grant and put them in. The multi-species themselves, it wasn't a great success. The chicory took very well, but the plantain is practically non-existent in it for some reason. But the only comment on this one, and kind of the reason we had to go topping it, was this one, the one that was sown in the autumn, is riddled, absolutely destroyed in thistles. And don't know where they came from. There's nothing compared to the other one. You can even see in the distance the divide between the ditch. It's just full of thistles. So we had to top it. And I was also ringing our merchant and trying to find if there is a spray available for thistles only that won't damage the chicory, plantain or the clover. Speaking of clover, I never said as well, when these 2 paddocks, the last round, they did not get any fertilizer, they didn't get any nitrogen. They got, 0.918 bags to the acre of that, so they got no nitrogen to try and keep the clover going, because that's what's part of the multi-species, keep the clover going. So they get nitrogen in this round, they probably won't get it the next, they won't get it in the next round, and it'll keep pace with all the rest of them anyway. So just, this is an interesting one about the thistles. They were just, I don't know what we're going to do if they come back again. We had them before in another multi-species, and yeah, we had to go out with the knapsack and spot spray them. Painful, but it gets rid of them, but it's frustrating, like. We reseeded here. This was reseeded back on the 1st of May. It's a monoculture, so a single variety. There's one single variety and 2 clovers in with it. The variety that we have, it's Aberclyde, so it's a monoculture, and it's number 4 on the PPIs. So it is a very good one. Looking forward to seeing how it goes. There's 2 clovers in it as well. There's Everlasting, I think is the name of one of the clovers, and there's a hybrid clover going in as well, just as a bit of a trial to see how it goes. This was disked and got 2, if not 3 runs of the disc, and 1 run of the power harrowed in before the seed went onto it, and it was rolled, and it badly needed the rain then that came, and it has kind of taken off since. It was a smashing job when it was finished. There was very little sod up on the top and everything, so it should ought to be fine. It needed the rain. So to the 1st of May is when it was done, so it is coming on good.
G'day, Ollie Paddock here from Kernow Pasture. What a beautiful end to the season it's going to be. May has certainly turned on there for us. We've had about 60 mil of rain over the last 4 weeks, and it's just really set us up into a real good position to milk right the way into the early days of June. Where we're currently sitting is we've got an average cover of 2,000. Planning to dry off around that 1850, 1900 mark, giving us that sort of 400 to 600 kilos of growth through June, July, and into the start of August. Our growth rates have been pretty consistent, sitting around the 35 to 40 mark, so it's really, really reassuring that we're still going to get some good growth. Ground temp has dropped from 12 down to 6 degrees in the last week, so winter is certainly upon us. I suppose the on-farm update is we are drying cows down. Yep, it's just mob by mob, 100 cows, 150 cows at a time, right into the calving mobs and groups. So the first early cows are being dried off first. So that's a process over the week-long period of just reducing the protein out of their diet, feeding them 4 kilos of whole crop, reducing the meal in the shed and grass silage, and reducing their grass intake outside. So it's just mob by mob. Currently we've dried off 300 cows so far. So we've still got another 350 cows to dry off. We've still got our culls and our empties on farm. My plan is to get rid of them first week in June, depending on the weather and my average cover. Obviously, if we drop below 1900, 1850 here over the next week, that's certainly going to pull a few triggers and levers that I'm going to pull. So my buyer for all my culls and the empties, he'll be alerted and they'll be gone the next day, giving us the pressure off the platform, making sure we don't make any mess, and easing ourselves into that winter routine. Jobs up and coming. Not only is it just drying the cows down, but all of our R2s are going to come through the yard for their winter annual maintenance, animal health, and tagging their management tags. So here in New Zealand, or most part of New Zealand, we don't have freeze brands. So a lot of the birth tags are then corresponded with the management number. So what cows are in the herd, minus the culls and the empties, and then we'll add in a management tag in their ear, which will be their permanent cow number until they're gone off the farm. So they'll be weighed, tagged, long-acting selenium, B12 and a copper, and then we'll be putting them onto crop full-time for the winter. And then yeah, the dairy team will just wind down, go on to a nice cruisy winter. It'll be, I'm looking at a 4-on, 3-off roster. So giving the boys plenty of time to relax, recoup, and get excited for next season. That's the on-farm update for Kernow Pasture at the end of May. Beautiful sunshine.
G'day all, welcome back to another month. We are now the 8th, I think it is, of May. 20 degrees today, 22, pretty nice day. Last month I touched on the fact that we were hoping our perennials would be fine. We've done a fair bit more digging and looking in the last week, and we've actually decided to oversow the whole farm. So we've got our contractor here now with a disc drill, and yeah, we're oversowing all our perennials with 15 kilos of a V&S variety. So hopefully, based on inspection so far, it looks like maybe half the plants are alive and the other half are dead. So yeah, it's pretty one of them things that we didn't want to take a punt and wait, because obviously winter's not far away, so we'd rather get set in the ground, and you know, better off to have too many plant populations, not enough. So the cost of this is probably going to be in around about that 50,000 sort of mark across what we need to do by the time we have seed and cost of the contractor. But as you can see here, you know, nothing's changed. It's still pretty dry, and we've still got that little bit of green in some spots, but you know, we've got plants here that have just got nothing and still got nothing. And if we cut into some of these stems, there's still no green. So yeah, taking the punt, then oversow the whole farm, as with a lot of other farmers actually doing now as well, just to make sure we've got plenty of plants come spring. I haven't shown much of our young stock over the last couple of months, so I just thought I'd show them today. So we've had to change our feeding regime for them. Normally we'd have enough round bale silage that we feed in rings to get them through, and normally have silage left over, and obviously by now we normally have grass. But with what is not declared a drought yet, but you could pretty much call it a drought, happening, we've had to change our regime. So we're now feeding some cottonseed, almond hulls, more grain, and some silage from home to these cows, or these heifers as well. So what we've decided to do is put Monday, Wednesday, Friday, come over and feed that mix with the mixer. Just drive over 10 minutes across the highway, and then just ad lib essentially their silage and a bit of hay to try and stretch that out. So we're currently budgeting, and this is the same for the home, currently budgeting on having enough feed on hand till sort of early to mid-August. So, you know, not to the end of winter, not far from spring. So look, if it hasn't rained by then, we're in some pretty big trouble. But today's the middle of May, still no rain, and it's, you know, I'm in shorts and t-shirt. It's 22, 23 degrees, so definitely a little bit unusual to be this warm this time of year. So we're now about, I think it's about 50 days average in lactation. And yeah, they're actually going pretty well, surprisingly, given that we've got no grass. Like, obviously it's green under the pivot, but still haven't got a lot of feed. So we are now about a week off mating. We'll start our programs next week with a GnRH, and followed up by some PGs the week later. But yeah, really happy with the condition of the cows. Milking really well, considering we've got no grass side. Obviously it's costing us a fair bit with inputs, you know, with grain and cottonseed, etc. But, you know, they're doing about 2.3, 2.4 solids. So yeah, considering everything, pretty happy. And luckily enough, yesterday we actually got 18 mil of rain. So yeah, definitely a good start. Hopefully, obviously it's still dry, but if we can get some follow up next week, an inch would be perfect to follow it up. But stuff like this, there's a few shoots in some of the old grass, but this will end up being a sacrifice paddock, because that's probably the next challenge now, is where the cows are coming from down this way. We've got about 5 paddocks that we've been just rotating around, sacrificing. The rest of the farm's been sown. We all oversow the whole farm, so that needs obviously shoot and grow. So our next challenge is going to be, if we do start getting continuous rain, that we'll need more sacrifice paddocks. So that's just how it is. So yeah, these will get sown probably in springtime. So thanks everyone for watching. Enjoy, and hopefully next month we'll have some grass to show you. Cheers.